The fact I'm a football coach. It's a competitive thing. I despise for people to beat us.
To Elliott, who goes sweeping to the left side. Gets to the 20, loose to the 30, to the 40, down the left side to the 50 goes Elliott. He's going to take it to the house. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. 85 yards. Back is Dorsey to throw. And he throws it in the end zone. It's incomplete. The Buckeyes win the national championship.
It's Everything Buckeye Nation, the voice of the fan, with your hosts, Jake Smith and Corey Boyd.
Welcome in and Happy New Year, everybody. This is the Everything Buckeye Nation show, the first day of 2019, bringing it in with a bang. Corey Boyd, producer G, running the show for us today. I'm Jake Smith, lots to talk about. Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year, Corey.
Happy New Year, brother.
Welcome in. Glad to see you. It has been too long since we've been in the fine studios here at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, as you can see. And we've got a big show for you today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Lots to get to. Of course, we'll do a ton of Rose Bowl talk today, but been a lot of rumors about quarterback situations.
Yeah, buddy.
We'll get into some of that and some pushback from current quarterbacks.
Getting a little testy.
Yeah. Tate's getting a little testy, but I like it. I like it a whole lot. Love to see it. We'll get into some coaching staff. The NFL wrapped up this past weekend, regular season. Talk a little bit about some Buckeyes in the NFL. And we've got I did some prep work on Buckeye basketball, but I don't think we'll be doing a whole lot of talking about that. Although this Saturday, I didn't even know this until this morning or yesterday, Ohio State is hosting number 8 Michigan State in Columbus this Saturday.
Oh, shoot.
In basketball.
Hey.
It's coming in quick, man.
Hey.
Big Ten season getting started. Appreciate everybody in the comments section. Alan Russell, Richard Koenig, Lee Travis, Eric Wilson, Laura BP, and Ben Montez. Happy New Year, everybody. Beat those Huskies, Eric says. Lee Travis says, feels like it was just August. Getting ready for 3 games without Urban. Time flies. Sure does, man.
Yeah, I want to shout out Jordan Williams on YouTube. He says, go Buckeyes.
What's up,
Appreciate you, Jordan, on YouTube, and everybody watching there as well.
Yeah, good reminder. If you have not, go check us out on YouTube, Everything Buckeye Nation. Hit that subscribe for us, please. We appreciate you. So we'll dive right in here, folks. I think the biggest story off the field for Ohio State lately has been all this quarterback transfer news. Justin Fields out of Georgia. Let us know what you think about this in the comment section, folks. Corey Shoemaker, Amanda Lambert, Mark Powers. Appreciate everybody hopping in. I'm reading off of the Everything Buckeye Nation page on Facebook. So if you want to make a comment there, please do so. We will see it. So Justin Fields, this is kind of an interesting situation. After National Signing Day a couple weeks ago, the Buckeyes quarterback, DeJuan Mathis, who was committed for the 2019 class, flipped to Georgia on signing day. Never took a visit down there. Kind of strange, but there's rumors coming out of Georgia that their star backup quarterback, Justin Fields, is looking to transfer. He's in the transfer portal, and apparently the Ohio State Buckeyes are number 1 on his list.
Hey.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, I didn't see this coming. Justin Fields now is one of the highest rated recruits ever by 24/7 Sports. Kid's 6'3", 225 out of Kennesaw, Georgia, I believe is how you pronounce it. And he was the highest rated recruit last year minus Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback at Clemson. You can tell that he's a ball player. He'll be playing for a long time. But Justin Fields, man, it's kind of a strange situation. He wants to reportedly transfer to Ohio State. He'll be applying for a hardship waiver to the NCAA to let him be eligible immediately. What do you think about this, Corey?
I like it. I might be the minority here, but I like it a lot.
Hey.
There's nothing wrong with competition. Not at all. I mean, I think I'm the only one that likes this. I think so. Everybody's like, yeah, get him, Tate. You get him. Way to chew him out. Woo! I like it. The more competition, the better. It brings out the best in you. If he comes along, let him. I don't understand the whole, well, you haven't been a Buckeye from day one. What do you think you are coming over here? I mean, when Joe Burrow went to LSU, I didn't see anybody crying about it. No. I didn't see anybody going, oh, how could Joe Burrow go to LSU?
We're all like,
I dare him go on their turf and steal a quarterback spot from them. No. Let him come on over here.
Sure.
May the best man win. It brings out the best in you. And Tate Martell seems like a confident guy.
Sure.
He seems like a guy that trusts his abilities, and he believes no matter who steps on that field, he's going to start. Now, the only thing I didn't, maybe you can explain this to me. I didn't get it's not greener on the other side. I didn't get that. I didn't get that part of it. Like, you know, coming over here, it's not as greener as you make. I didn't get that part of the comment. Like, you're trying to sway him from coming to Ohio State. I didn't get that comment, but the rest of it, hey, be confident in yourself. But I want him to come here now. Yeah. I want the competition because Justin Fields is no slouch.
Oh, baby. Have you seen watch some of his high school tape, folks. Justin Fields, this kid. I mean, you can say the same thing about Tate Martell. Both were 5-star kids. Fields is much more of an NFL prospect than Martell is, basically just due to size. 6'3", 225, has a bigger arm, but still ridiculous athleticism, can run the ball extremely well. And Fields is a highly, highly coveted player. I mean, even if you had 3 5-star quarterbacks on your roster and he wants to come to you, you're not saying no.
You're not going to say no. And I think I was watching something. He's trying to file. I forget what it was, so he doesn't have to sit out a year.
Yeah, it's like a hardship waiver.
Yeah, hardship waiver.
With the racial issues he got into earlier this year.
Right. So if he doesn't have to sit out a year, man, listen, I love competition. And, hey, Tate believes in himself. Justin Fields knows what he can bring to the table. Bring him on to Ohio State, and may the best man win the job. It's not about who's been at the college longer, who's been here. It's about who is better. That's what it's about. And if Fields wants to come to Ohio State, I'm not going to be like, well, Tate's been here. He's been here longer. So we shouldn't want anybody else. It's Tate's job. And to me, now this is just me. Y'all can boo me if you want. That is okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it. I think Tate was like, well, Haskins is gone. It's my job.
It's my job.
Man, it's easy now. Now he's like, whoa. Hey, Hey, you mean I got to work again? What is this? That's how I took it, but
we'll get into some of I got some quotes from Tate Martell here. Want to give a quick shout out to everybody in the comment section. Appreciate you. Scott Meyer in Arizona, Carrie Lynn, Sean Eagleson. Appreciate everybody here. Blake Heimsness, I believe. We will see. Sean Eagleson says, doesn't he have to sit out 1 year? I know the rumor has it, and nothing's been official yet, but Justin Fields apparently has retained the same lawyer that Shea Patterson got when leaving Ole Miss to apply to the NCAA to be eligible immediately. The lawyer's name, I think it's Tom Mars. I was trying to find it here, and I can't exactly find the guy. Okay. But point is, this guy is 4-0 against the NCAA in eligibility suits.
Wow.
So, and especially with this kind of suit, I mean, Justin Fields is saying he wants out of Georgia. He was in that racial situation in August, September, where actually a Georgia baseball player was throwing racial slurs around at him, a classmate. I mean, really pathetic. Really, that guy was kicked out of school, deservedly so. So he's going to apply to the NCAA, say, racial hardships. I don't know the exact term they're going to use, but with that lawyer and that scenario, he's probably going to be able to play next year. Right away. So that's been a question. Wouldn't he have to sit out? But I don't think so. we will see.
We got a couple. I got a couple comments over here on YouTube.
Hit 'em.
Brian McGee, our guy Brian, says Happy New Year's,
Brian.
guys. Wild over on YouTube said this game is going to be, in my eyes, a pretty good game, but go Buckeyes. He says he hasn't heard any news because he's been out of town. Is Haskins playing? Haskins is playing,
Unless something
horrible
unless finds out
he gets the flu or I don't know, but he's
after
playing.
Kickoff, he's like, I'm not going to risk it.
He's playing.
He's in. He's
And
playing.
then Brian chimed in and said, if Fields is better, then he gets the spot. It's simple. Goes to the better player.
Sure.
Competition.
And that's something that used to frustrate me in the Tressel era. He would play a guy that was a senior over a guy that was like a sophomore because he'd been there longer. But it's like, if you, in my opinion, it's always been, if you got two equal players, give it to the younger guy so that he can grow with this more experience. And I understand the idea, well, you give it to the senior because he's been around the block. He knows, he's been in those tough situations. And I guess it depends on what the type of player and the position, whatever. But I've always thought, play the younger guy. And we'll talk about this in a little bit. There are some players that may be making their last appearance in the Scarlet and Gray today. Mm-hmm. They'll have some tough decisions, but guys like Damon Arnett and Kendall Sheffield are both eligible to go to the draft. If they come back, I don't want them to be our corners next year. Please. We got Sean Wade. We got Jeff Okudah.
Please. No.
I don't give it to the senior.
Please.
Not in this situation.
I see a couple comments here. Carl says Fields is seeking attention only. Carrie says play them both. Mark says play the win. BJ Murray said OHIO. And Blake says he didn't pick Ohio State first. He picked Georgia, so stay there. Tate chose Ohio State. He didn't have any other school he wanted to go to. Let him shine. It's his turn. He'll be the next Braxton Miller.
Oh, my.
Whoa.
Hey, now.
Hey, now. Big threat running. Just needs to work this offseason on completions.
Talking about Tate?
Talking about Tate.
So let's get to some of these quotes here, huh? I'll give some background to this whole Justin Fields noise. Why is he picking Ohio State? Rumor has it. I heard a rumor today from a source that I trust that says that an announcement could come as early as tomorrow.
Wow.
That Justin Fields is picking Ohio State.
Okay.
So, we'll have to see. He's the number 2 overall recruit in the 2018 class. He'd be a huge get, of course, anytime you get a guy of that caliber talent. And he and Dwayne Haskins are good friends. They have the same quarterback coach off the field. Heck, this offseason, before this season, Haskins and Fields were training with Deshaun Watson, and those three have the same quarterback coach, Quincy Avery. Quincy Avery said about a month ago, before anything was mentioned about Ryan Day, I think, becoming the new head coach, he said, if I had a son that played quarterback, I'd 100% want him to play for Ryan Day. And so there's all this talk. Well, Justin Fields sees what Dwayne Haskins has done under Ryan Day this year. It's just gotten better each week and developed into a top 10 NFL pick. So Fields is like, hell, I'm going to go get developed by this guy. When's the last time Ohio State's had a reputation to put guys, quarterbacks into the NFL? I mean, it doesn't happen. So Dwayne Haskins is starting this whole train, and Justin Fields, they get along very well. They're good friends, Fields and Haskins. Tate Martell, not necessarily sold on the idea.
Saying that lightly.
Yeah. Here's a couple quotes. Quote, I have no doubt that I'll go out there and win the job. End quote. You want to hear that from your quarterback.
Sure.
Another quote, this dude hasn't put a single second into Ohio State football. I don't know why somebody would think that the grass is greener on the other side, but I guess he's kind of looking at it like a fantasy way, I guess. He also tweeted, words of advice, don't swing and miss, especially not your second time. So, I mean, Martell's taking shots, man, at Justin Fields. And, that I love his confidence. I think it's great. If he can go out there and prove it on the field, then that's what people love Baker Mayfield so much, because he talks, but he backs it up every time.
Now, is it just me, but that last comment there, to me, sounds like you're a little bit salty that someone that's got some talent could be step on your toes.
That would
fighting for the starting position. That's what it sounds like to me. I know. How could you say that, Corey? Oh my goodness. Tate's been here for a year. All year. He's been in Georgia. I don't care. If he wants to come to Ohio State, let him lay the best man win.
Sure.
It's a competition. It's not it's your turn now, buddy. You know, you sat behind Haskins. Good job. Good job, soldier. It's your turn.
It's like what happened with Kelly Bryant at Clemson. He sat behind Deshaun Watson for 2 years. He said, I did my time. And then the freshman who's better than him jumps him, and they start the freshman, and he said, what the hell? It was my turn.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, Chief. I mean.
And now look where they're at.
And believe me, I've been really excited to see Tate Martell. And I think he's going to do really well. If this, this is all hearsay at this point, who knows where Justin Fields will end up? Maybe he'll go to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's going to need a quarterback next year. Yeah. And Justin Fields, one of his best friends, is making his decision today or tomorrow in the All-American Bowl, and he's the number 1 receiver in the country, and he's probably going to pick Oklahoma. So maybe he'll end up at Oklahoma. They've won 2 Heismans in back-to-back years. That's not a bad idea, and maybe
I'll tell you this.
It'll all be hearsay.
If he doesn't end up at Ohio State, and this Tate versus Fields, oh, buddy.
That'd be fun.
That's going to be some good television.
That's what we were talking about with if we got a Haskins versus Burrow.
Right.
And let us know in the comments, by the way, how LSU is doing. I saw Joe Burrow get absolutely smoked earlier and then come back and throw 3 touchdowns. I think it's a close game, so let us know. Zachary Meeks Blake says he'd like to see Hurts transfer to Ohio State. I don't want to see that. Brody Smith, Marco Flores, Happy New Year to you as well.
What's up, my man Marco? What's up?
Noel says, do you think Michael Jordan will come back for another year? We've got some players to talk about who could be coming back. Michael Jordan is one of them. Ryan Day has already said that if he does come back for his senior year, the plan is to move him back to guard where he's more familiar with, and Josh Myers will start at center next year. That's what Ryan Day said is the plan. If he comes back, we're moving him back to guard. That's the way to do it. I mean, I'm very glad to hear that, and I hope Michael Jordan comes back to be the linchpin on that offensive line for us next year. We'll get to some of those guys in a little bit, but this Justin Fields stuff is very interesting, and it's you're not making friends in football by starting guys. You know what I mean? I would love nothing more than to see Tate Martell run Ryan Day's offense next year and tear it up and go pro. And that'd be pretty cool. The draft next year is in Las Vegas, which is where his hometown is from. So I know he's already got his eyes on that. I'd love to see Tate Martell do it, and I think he's put in great work here, and that's fantastic. But if Justin Fields comes in, it's going to be an open competition. Nobody's going to be handed the job, whether it be Fields or Martell. They're going to battle it out, and that's how it always is. But, I'd be bummed to not see Martell play again or play for the Buckeyes, but it's the way it goes.
And he didn't make it any easier on himself.
By talking smack?
Exactly. Not at all. Because now I'm coming in here, oh, okay. You want to talk junk, huh? Watch this. That's how he's going to come in now. Because you've called him out. You've called him out. You have called him out. So, hey, I mean, it's going to be fun. I want to be in practice if he comes to Ohio State.
Oh,
I just want to see the practices.
Because, Haskins and something else Tate Martell said that I didn't put on this sheet, but he tweeted the other day, somebody, Ohio State beat writer, tweeted a video from Ohio State practice, or somebody tweeted a video. I think it was a Washington guy, actually, and Tate Martell threw a nice pass into the end zone for a touchdown. Great ball. And Martell quoted the tweet and said, holy shit, I can actually throw the ball. And that's what he said. He's dropping, he's cussing on, and which is fine. And he and Haskins had a pretty funny back and forth with it because Haskins was like, what? I didn't know that. Or what? Right. He's just keeping himself, in the topic of conversation, which he tends to do. We'll have to see. Obviously, I think Tate Martell is the guy next year, no matter as long as Fields doesn't come in, it's his job to lose. And I think it is his job to lose anyway. But once Field comes in, if he does, it's going to be what do you got? Let's see.
And Tate Martell still has the leg up, so he'll have to lose. So if you lose, that really looks bad. It won't look bad. To me, saying hope you don't swing or miss, it'll look worse on you if you don't win.
If you swing and miss.
Right. So, man.
Hey, Shawnee Weber joins the program.
All right.
Adam Shipman, Scott Meyer, Nathan Young. Blake says, I could see us getting Oklahoma State's offensive coordinator, coach. Oklahoma State's coordinator, Yurchich. We're going to have to get used to his name because it's kind of funky, but rumor has it Ryan Day loves him to come in and be the new offensive coordinator. There you go. Corey Shoemaker just posted that.
Okay.
Chris Lyons, what's up?
What's up, Chris?
And Nathan Young says, who do you prefer, Martell or Fields? Sorry, just jumped in.
Ooh. Man.
Great question.
That's listen.
I've been salivating over Tate Martell for a couple years
but
now.
If y'all haven't watched Fields, pull him up. And I'm not trying to
go to YouTube, subscribe to Everything Buckeye Nation, and then look up Justin Fields.
Exactly. I'm just saying, man. I'm not trying to be a homer. I'm not trying, because the homer in me wants to say Tate Martell, he's our guy. He's been here. But, man, the size, the speed, I'll tell you this. If Urban was the coach, I'll just give me Fields.
Somebody said,
just give me Fields. I wouldn't even lie. Yeah. Just give me, if Urban was the head coach, just give me Fields. I love you, Tate, but Urban would be like Fields left, Fields right.
Somebody said,
I'm just saying.
I saw on Twitter somebody after, because it was a couple days after Urban Meyer said that he's stepping down after the Rose Bowl, that this came out that Justin Fields is going to transfer, and his top choice was Ohio State. And I saw somebody post a GIF. They said, Urban Meyer after hearing this, and it's the GIF of the Undertaker sitting up out of the casket. Hey, what's that? Oh, no, actually, I think I can coach another year, maybe. Oh, man.
But this, man, I'm telling you, Fields, woo.
Check out his highlights, folks.
Just check him out.
They're
not
ridiculous.
Trying to be a homer, but check him out before you just say Tate 100%. Check this young man out. I want him to transfer because I want to see this competition, because you called this young man out. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, it'll be interesting. Billy Freilich said LSU scored 31-21. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you for that.
So let's talk about a little bit of coaching staff and some players. We'll see who might be playing their last game, maybe not coaching their last game. Larry Johnson said, I have no plans to go anywhere. You got to think he's a lock to return. I think Chase Young even said so that's great. Bill Davis, linebackers coach, quote, I would love to be back, and quote, also said the linebackers have grown since he got here. Talk about a swing and a miss, I think, there, Billy Davis. I can't imagine Ryan Day keeping him around. Billy Davis. So he's probably coaching his last game at Ohio State. I would think probably the offensive line coach, Greg Studrawa, he's probably out after today. Greg Schiano is probably out after today. But
it's going to be very interesting to see what he does with his coaching staff.
Yeah,
who he keeps, who he lets go. Will he be calling the plays? Will the offensive coordinator call the plays? It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, should be fun. Should be, there's not going to be any nepotism hires. Like Bill Davis was hired, he's got a great resume, 25 years in the NFL coaching linebackers. He's been at like 15 different coaching jobs. You know what I mean? There's a reason he's getting a new job every 2 years. He's got to go, man. And he was Urban Meyer's best man. Yeah. So that's,
we got to get rid of it.
He's never going to get fired.
We got to get rid of that stuff.
Yeah. He got
not to be mean or rude, but
Clyde says,
I'm tired of
friends.
Seeing
Bill Davis going.
I'm tired of friends and family and no.
Jonathan Fraley, Bill Davis needs to go. You got about 12 O's in there. Oh, for real. Absolutely. And Corey Shoemaker said, with Manny Diaz taking over the U, Schiano's chance for Temple is still a possibility. That is interesting. I thought about that as well. Did you hear about this? Manny Diaz was the defensive coordinator for Miami, Florida this year. Took the head coaching job at Temple. I thought Greg Schiano would get a serious look at that job, but they went with Manny Diaz out of the U. And then out of nowhere, a couple nights ago, Mark Richt is like, you know what? I'm done. Hanging it up. Mark Richt is the head coach of the U, just straight up retires out of nowhere. So they call Manny Diaz up. Hey, I know you just took the job at Temple, but will you come back and be our head coach? And he was like, yep. See ya, Temple. Kind of sucks for Temple, but I think they get like a $4 million buyout, so who knows? Clyde says Davis can take Schiano with him. Maybe Schiano take that Temple job and hire Bill Davis. I don't know, but both of those guys got to go, I think. I'd have to say. Last thing for the Ohio State football news and notes, a 2020 recruit 4-star wide receiver G. Scott Jr. commits to Ohio State on Christmas Day. 6'3", 210 out of Washington State. Right under the Huskies' nose. We plucked him out of there. 58 overall recruit in the country, according to 27 Sports. So that's a nice get. Good to see Ryan Day and Brian Hartline, pulling in some top talent.
First recruiting for Brian Hartline. It's going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Corey Shoemaker says Marcus Freeman for defensive coordinator. He won the bowl game down there. My Bearcats, man, they had a really nice season.
I seen you tweeting about your Bearcats.
Hey, man.
Hey, 11-2.
11-2.
Not bad.
Outstanding. I mean,
Luke
after
Fickell doing his thing.
3 straight 4-8 seasons, you got to say, very proud of Luke Fickell down there. Joe Roman, big OHIO. He's at Washington, Florida. Brian Price just joined. Adam Schiffman, Alan Russell. Appreciate everybody in here. So,
and Zach Kaiser here on YouTube says Martell is more athletic. He'd win out the spot over Fields, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Haskins could be coming back.
This is all, Haskins has not said he's going.
He hasn't.
He has not come out and said.
He should.
Urban Meyer said to him, apparently Urban Meyer asked him, will you just hang on, just don't say anything before the Rose Bowl. Let's do the Rose Bowl, get that over with, and then you can make your call. But
he should go.
He's got to go, man.
Just go.
I mean,
it's on the platter for you.
He's gone.
Probably the first quarterback taken. Second,
certainly, got to be first. Especially now that Justin Herbert
he's going
came back to Oregon.
You gotta go. Don't pull a Cardale, please. Just don't do it. And you're way better than Cardale. I'm just saying, don't, because the competition will be a lot steeper next year. Just go, and I am your guy. Just go. Giants, Jaguars. One of them.
I would be pretty bummed if he went to the Giants, but
I'd have
to start rooting for him.
I'm pretty sure one of them will pick him up.
Yeah, he's got to be gone. Kerry Lynn says he's going to be a top pick. Shawnee says, I feel like he should go. I mean, it just makes sense. His stock is incredibly high, and this is a horrible draft class for quarterbacks.
What could he do? Obviously win a title. But what could he do? What else? He broke every single season record. Yeah. Unless he plans on staying 5 years to break every record Barrett had, that's it.
No chance. Go play. Kerry Lynn says I'd want him on the Steelers. Steelers are falling apart, man. You hear Antonio Brown's asking for a trade?
Yeah, the Steelers are they're in trouble. And boy, I am not sad.
Nope, me neither. Eldre Watkins,
my man Eldre in the building. Yes, y'all need Dwayne. Could you picture that? I know you don't like it, and I know he would love it.
Well, I'm a Cowboys fan, so
he would love it because his Giants have been not good, and I've been in a place where he's at right now because I'm a Browns fan.
Well,
Eldre, I feel your pain, but could you, Dwayne Haskins, Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr.,
Evan Ingram,
Sterling Shepard. He would have the weapons to his disposal.
It'd be
the Giants better. The Giants, if he comes out, if they miss on this and whiff and say, we're going to give Eli just one more shot, I don't know what I would do if I was a Giants fan.
I'd be pumped.
I know you'd be pumped.
So
I'm just
excited.
saying, I'd lose my mind if they said, you know what? Eli gets one more shot.
Who knows, man. We'll see. I'm going to flip to to the back here. Let's talk about some Buckeyes that might be making their last appearance in the Scarlet and Gray. I got a little break in the line here, which is where we start. Let's see here. Could be the last game for some of the guys. We know that, the seniors are going. Of course, those 3 wide receivers, Johnny Dixon, Paris Campbell, Terry McLaurin are gone. Mike Weber's already said it's his last game. He's done his 4 years here. Excited to see what he can do in the pros. And Draymond Jones also said this is his last game as a Buckeye. But then there are some others to discuss. The main ones seem to be Michael Jordan. He is, I think Todd McShay listed him, or maybe Matt Miller, a Bleacher Report, said that he's the number 1 guard on the board. I mean, it's tough to, he had a rough year at center this year, but it's not his position. You know what I mean? Michael, he's 6'7", 315. He could play tackle if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But I really would love to see Michael Jordan come back and play next year. One more year, bring him back, Ryan Day. That'll be tough recruiting job as anything for Ryan Day, is trying to recruit your own guys to stay.
Come on, give me one more.
Michael Jordan, KJ Hill could go.
No. KJ, if you're watching this, for me, just give me one more year. I know you started off as Jake's guy, but you grew on me too.
Let's go.
Just give me one more year, KJ Hill.
One more year, KJ Hill.
More.
Also, my guy Jordan Fuller. Talk about a swing and a miss. I said before the season, I said, look at me, listen to me. Jordan Fuller will be a first-round pick. Not going to happen. No. Not this year. But I would love to see Jordan Fuller come back as well. And then there's a little bit of rumors about Malik Harrison. He's eligible as a redshirt sophomore. I would be surprised if he went. He's got the physical tools and can only get better with his technique. He's really come on towards the end of the year here, but I think he needs at least another year. Adam Schiffman said, fellas, talk to me about the DBs. You got something over there?
I got something over here, too. Which one you want to do first?
Go ahead.
Brian on YouTube says, you have any thoughts on Bosa's letter to Buckeye Nation?
I do. So let me wrap up DBs real quick. We'll talk Nick Bosa's letter. The DBs are in an interesting position here. I really want Jordan Fuller to come back, and then Brendan White will be back next year. What are you laughing about?
Carrie Lynn said you forgot to mention Isaiah Prince.
Yeah, must have slipped my mind. Thank you, Carrie. Good call. Isaiah Prince, last game at right tackle for the Buckeyes. I just blocked that out of my memory, I guess. Man, wonder what happened.
I don't know, man.
I really didn't mean to.
I think he false started again.
Yeah, no kidding. I even wrote it down here. It's on the sheet. I just went right over it. Wow. DBs, though, I mean, like we briefly talked about earlier, Kendall Sheffield, Damon Arnett can go pro. I don't think either of them will do anything in the pros.
Right there.
But, yeah, sure enough, right there on the sheet there.
I know you guys can't see it, but I highlighted it.
That's the
Isaiah Prince in the highlight.
Bingo. Oh, it's green. It's going through.
Oh, damn, it's going fading through quick. Dang.
Oh, I can't imagine those guys will succeed in the NFL. Kendall Sheffield has all the traits, and he's played a lot better than Arnett that has this year. But I can't imagine. I don't want to see them in our starting defense next year. Arnett, I've been sick of Arnett for 3 years.
I don't even want to think about Arnett coming back. I just don't like.
He's fourth-year junior. I mean,
every time you see Arnett, it's the back of his jersey. That's not good. It's just not. I don't want to see that. Oh, please.
No.
Whew.
Get rid of. I mean, I don't care if maybe he'll transfer, maybe he'll be a grad transfer, go somewhere else. But it'd be pretty cool if Ryan Day was like, "Look, buddy,
just bench him." That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all you got to do.
And who knows? Maybe it'll come back that maybe because I mean we've got Jeffrey Okudah and Shaun Wade. Shaun Wade's been playing a lot of nickel, a lot of safety, just finding ways to get him onto the field because he's so damn good. How about play him at corner? He was a cornerback. He and Okudah were the 1 and 2 ranked cornerbacks in that famed class of 2017, and it's like
you can't do no worse. You can't
put those guys in.
You can't.
Those and those guys having Kerry Combs gone, I think is a major loss. But Kerry Combs is the whole reason we got Okudah and we got Sean Wade because of our conveyor belt of first-round corners put into the NFL. Yeah. Jeremy says, facts, get him gone. I mean, no Arnett. Sheffield I like better than Arnett, but
anybody but Arnett.
Dude is a...
And if you ever watch this, I apologize, but I just got to speak on it. Anybody but Arnett.
It's just... Chris Lyon says, David Arnett has a career at Waste Management waiting for him. A long and luxurious career. Damn. That is something else. So let's get to Bosa's letter.
Yeah.
Here he said, wrote, Dear Buckeye Nation.
Yeah.
Pretty much went through his struggles making the decision to leave the team. It was posted on the Players Tribune, and we shared it on our page here on our links, so you can go through our pages and see that.
Yeah.
So I was happy. I was happy to read that. Nick Bosa, it was great. He showed up at bowl practice earlier this week.
Yeah.
And, it's just it was, almost heartfelt. You could really feel his emotion in the letter, how he dreamed of being a Buckeye. And it just didn't, he didn't think that his season was over right then on that play. He said he had some issues with the groin in preseason. And then, when it happened against TCU, he didn't really feel like it was that big of a deal, but it was something weird about it. He had he couldn't play the rest of the game. Sure enough, ended his season.
He didn't have to write the letter.
No,
he didn't have to,
but
I'm glad that he did, because you don't know what players are going through. That's why I didn't come out here and go, oh my goodness, you quit on us.
Your team. So much for captain.
Forget you and your career. Before the season, he was having problems with it. Nobody knew.
Nobody knew
He was
about
just
that.
Playing and chugging up. Now you could make the case that maybe the Bosas have injury problems, and you could say that.
Yeah.
But to question, he wasn't for. That's why I didn't go that route, because you never know. So he didn't have to write the letter, but I was glad that he did, to give insight on what he was going through. It's not like he wanted to quit. Do you think he just said, oh, well, phooey, I'm just going to quit? Who cares?
No.
I'm glad I'm hurt. No. So I was glad he wrote that. It gave some insight on what he was going through, how let down he was, how his teammates was behind him through every step of the way, how it hurt him and the coaches when they knew once they looked at it that, man, this is it. It's over. This is his career. Like, he's not going to play no more for Ohio State. His goal was to bring Ohio State a championship, and he knew he couldn't do it. So I was glad he wrote the letter.
You're right. That's a great point. And I didn't think about that he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to write that letter. Hey, Josh, Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in. So, it's kind of a bummer. Certainly that he's not out there, but
it's a bummer. And I think
very nice of him.
I think sometimes as fans, me too, we forget about that aspect of it. Like, they're humans too. We just want to win so bad that it doesn't matter. Get up, get out there and play. I don't care about your groin or your hip or whatever it is, but I was glad he wrote that letter, gave some insight. I mean, I get it. It's our best player. We're emotional. But him writing that letter, me reading it personally, I was like, just seeing what he went through. Best luck to him going into the draft, and whoever gets him first pick, I still think he should be first pick regardless.
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals have the first pick in the draft.
They don't need a quarterback.
No, they got Josh Rosen. They just fired their head coach, so we'll see. They can bring in a new guy, and we are, you may have noticed some movement here, folks. We are bringing in everybody's favorite former Buckeye, Doug Worthington.
He's coming in
the program.
So we are going to look very, very,
very small,
tiny.
So we'll bring Doug in here and talk about some Rose Bowl. He was a member of the last team that went to the Rose Bowl for the Buckeyes. So we'll get to some of that, and we will bring him in here. Go see if he's ready.
All right. And I will sit here and talk to our great fans here. It's just me going solo. Read some comments. 3121 says Carrie. It was a beautiful, heartfelt letter, says Sandra. Kentucky scored again. Adam says 26-7, not good for the big. Yes, we look good as a whole, says Allen. And Eddie says Ben Snell, 17 carries, 114, and 2 touchdowns. So let us know how you feel about the Rose Bowl. What's the score? Who
Benny
are you
Snell,
giving
local
your
kid.
Buckeye leaf to this Rose Bowl? Who's your Buckeye leaf going to? Who's going to be your player of the game? Let us know. Get it in the comment section as Doug Worthington is getting ready to come in here and spill wisdom.
He has given Producer G, your favorite producer's favorite producer, giving him some numbers of his buddies. We're going to call up some former Buckeyes, get their takes on the game and everything. So definitely want to stay tuned, folks. It's going to be an exciting topic here. The Rose Bowl. We are just over an hour and 15 minutes away from the game. We are going to wrap up this show at about 4:30 and then get everything set up. We'll be back to bring you the play-by-play for the game. We'll be on a little bit of a delay, but we always are. So
yeah, it's going to be a little delay on the play-by-play.
We'll figure it out.
So
just pause your DVR. And
for about 2 minutes.
Well, I don't know. That might be a little high, but, who knows? Who knows? Corey Shoemaker says 42-28 Buckeyes. And what is the score of the Penn State-Kentucky game, folks? Let us know because it sounds like Kentucky's running away with it.
Yeah,
I got a couple texts. James Franklin
I think
is
we're
not
getting
a
beat
good
down.
coach.
I think they're getting beat down.
Man,
pretty bad.
It's embarrassing.
Last score I seen was 26-7. Yep, 26-7.
Holy smokes,
and Eddie
man!
Stats said Snell at 17 carries, 114, and 2 touchdowns.
The Columbus native. Benny Snell, baby.
Yeah, 27-7 now. They made the extra point. So it's 27-7. The University of Kentucky.
Over the Nittany
Over the
Lions.
Penn State Nittany Lions.
I saw on Twitter, somebody made a comment, Corey Shoemaker maybe, made a comment earlier about the number 1 receiver in the 2020 class. Julian Fleming is his name. He's rumored to be a Penn State lean, but he's seriously considering Ohio State as well. And I saw a tweet from Brian Hartline retweeted something bashing James Franklin. So I'm sure Fleming follows Hartline on Twitter, and he's seeing potential coach ripping on Penn State a little bit. There's a little bit of gamesmanship there, I'd have to think.
Yeah. Chris says the real Heisman winner will show off today.
I like that.
Arnett. No, I'm playing.
Oh, damn. now
you're talking about my guy, Dwayne
crazy.
Haskins. And he said something about taking it out on Washington.
Yeah. Let me get this quote.
Yeah. So he's going. Hope he backs it up.
I thought we should have been in, referring to the playoff, but take it out on Washington. Damn. He is 420 yards and 3 touchdowns away from 5,000 passing yards and 50 passing touchdowns on the season. So 420 is kind of a high.
That's high. That's high.
420
Go
is high.
for it. And I heard the game may start off windy. So
I heard that
that's
too.
something to look at in the first quarter. So if you see a lot of running, that's why. It's at 25-mile-an-hour winds to start off.
And Washington has sort of a strange defense. They've got really talented players at all levels. They have 3 All-Americans on defense. Their middle linebacker is first-team All-American, and then they had 2 All-Americans at corner, Byron Murphy, and safety Taylor Rapp. They've got a very, very solid defense, and I'm curious to see what our plan of attack is offensively. Are we going to challenge that? I mean, of course we're going to throw the ball around. Haskins' last game, probably. But who knows? Maybe
start off with some underneath routes, Then once the wind dies down, air it out. Get him that record. It's his last game. Get him the record.
Who's last game?
Haskins.
Oh, did we make an announcement?
I just did. Yep. News break. It's Haskins' last game.
Yeah,
Get him that record.
Great educated guess. I am not mad at that.
Get him that record as Doug Worthington is making his way in.
Testing the mic. I'm not that tall. Me. Here we go.
I'll scoot over just a touch if you can.
And I'll scoot over just a touch. There we go. We got to make this work. Make this work.
Here we go.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, still sticking with us.
We need some assistance from your favorite producer's favorite producer.
Yes, sir. We all need
And if you've never seen G, you see a clips of his hat and his nose right there.
Put your face in it, man. Go ahead and go show her who you are, man. I ain't getting no haircut in New Year's. Hey, it's 2019.
2019.
Man. Thank you guys for having me on a great show, man. This is
we appreciate you, man.
Near and dear to me, being at the Pasadena site. Have you, any of you gentlemen ever?
Nope. Have not been lucky enough.
I'm gonna paint it just a scenery of just great allure. This thing is called the granddaddy of them all. With that being said, you got mountains in the background. You got the trees, the exotic, the grass look like it's been watered just 2 seconds ago. It's crisp. It's a little bit chilly, believe it or not. It's not like it's 90 degrees at first when you first get on there, and then it just kind of just opens up with just all the possibilities. When the sun sets, it's gonna be early. It's gonna look nice and like in the morning time, and then it's gonna at the end of the game, it's gonna be dark. It was for me, especially being at Ohio State for 05 to 09. We won a Fiesta Bowl with A.J. Hawk and Santonio Holmes and Nick Mangold at the helms. Then we had 4 years of BCS dominance where we had 2 national championships and another game against Texas, and we lost all of them. So to be there, to be a captain, to be like 17-point underdogs to I think they were 8th and we were like 10th, Oregon Ducks.
Was that
unbelievable.
That was a exciting game. I'm trying to remember who the quarterback was. Was it Masoli? Jeremiah Masoli?
It was Masoli.
Was that him?
Yep.
Yeah. He came from Ole Miss.
Yep.
And phenomenal. I mean, they had some.
I feel like I'm wrong about that.
I should know. He was number 8. He actually got in trouble like the Knicks the following spring. He like stole a computer, something crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah, just something crazy. It just happens when you play like certain teams and you have certain environments. You always kind of look and see what that team does. It can be during the season, it can be during a bowl game, but you always want to see what that competitor does. And I remember he had like a great But again, I mean, LeGarrette Blount, 2-time Super Bowl champion, had an amazing game there. You had T.J. Ward, the safety.
Wow.
A bunch of guys that I'm missing, but those gentlemen I knew, and I kind of followed their career and talked to them after about that particular game and how they didn't expect us to come out the way we did. And it was really just a testament to 4 years of BCS struggles and going out there and just kind of putting on. So yeah, man, Rose Bowl.
That was a great game. I remember I was just reading up on it. Jake Ballard made that ridiculous catch on a 3rd and long. I got a question here for you.
What we got?
Our guy Eddie Stats, we call him. He's always dropping the knowledge on. It says, "Hey Doug, how does a layoff hurt a college team or even help them? You know, we haven't played a game in about a month."
Yeah, I remember going out to that Florida game, and we had like a month and a half off. This was before we played the team up north during Thanksgiving. We didn't play them. We played them the week before. So we had half of November, like a week and a half of November, all of December, and the national championship game was played like on the 12th. So that was almost 2 months of not playing football, and it can be somewhat of a issue if you allow it to be, if you don't have good captains and the coaching staff and whatnot. That particular game, I wouldn't really point on it having that long layover. We had a phenomenal player who was still a top 10 draft pick named Ted Ginn, who was still being exceptional and playing in the NFL with the New Orleans Buckeye Saints, I like to call them. And what he was supposed to do for the team, again, you can't put a game of 11 men on one person, but how dynamic we expected him to be and for him to kind of get hurt kind of messed us up. But that layover is true. You need good coaching staff. You need a help. A lot of times it's good. When you have a layover, I know Chase Young was getting over some injuries at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And he just talked about, really getting back to shape, really being able to run full sprints and being able to kind of bend and having a little bit of issues being in the trenches. It was actually good for a lot of us to kind of, just rest our body, get into the training room, get into the film room, and really just, take care of things off the field. And
it's a lot of, I feel from what I've heard and, everything that a lot of the young guys are getting practice reps because you don't want to put too much on the veterans. They've been practicing all year, and good chance for young guys to get in there and make a name for themselves in practice. And
for sure,
good to get everybody rested. Like you said, Chase Young said he's finally healthy after 2 sprained ankles. I mean, we had no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Nope.
they don't want, they don't tell everybody. They don't have like the scouting reports. They don't have those different intangibles like they do in the NFL. All the, hey, this injury has happened, this injury happened, because they have to report it just because of the laws of the rules of the NFL. So a guy like him to have some problems with his legs, lower extremities, ankle problems, and be able to have that rest is definitely amazing. So I can't wait to see my guys go out there and really put on for that last game with one of the best coaches of the history of Ohio State, and Urban Meyer. So it's going to be a phenomenal game, phenomenal environment.
I can't wait.
Gee, do we have somebody on the phone?
Got a phone
We
call.
got someone on the phone already? B-Roll, man. That's one of the guys you can always count on. B-Roll, man. I love B-Roll, man. Where's my guy, man?
You with us, Brian? All right, we're trying him. He's on the line, but
I hear something. Y'all got y'all. How do y'all hearing stuff? Y'all got the new age. Is it just gonna be a speaker?
It's a speaker right now.
Oh man, nice. I like the speaker stuff.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I ain't mad at it. But yeah, let's just talk about B-Roll, man. I remember
Number
coming
36,
in 36.
Right?
Yeah, he was one of those guys where you looked at his stature, and he didn't have no business playing at the Ohio State University. He didn't look like any of us as far as being. I'm 6'6", 300 pounds. Yeah, James Ornight is 6'1" and some change. B-Roll was like 5'9", 5'10" and a half. He was short, man, but he was a dog. He was very, very aware of his capabilities and very aware of what he needed to be on the football field. And he was always very accountable and a great teammate, man. It's great to be around, fun-loving, very accountable, somebody who was a humble leader, a servant leader. So it was good. It's good to have him and be in his life, man. Football after the game, after the Rose Bowl, when it's all said and done, when he's done playing and put up his cleats, guys like B-Roll is what it's all about. So I can't wait to get him back on here.
We might
B-Roll,
have.
you around? I don't hear it yet.
I know he's there because I just talked to him.
Okay.
Are you there, sir?
I hear something.
Yeah,
What we got? Where's the score of that UCF game? I see it down there.
Yeah, let us know in the comments section, folks, what the score of the UCF LSU game is.
I always got to look up at Joe Burrow, man. You got to still love your Buckeye.
Yep.
He was on his campus. He deserved to be exactly what he is as far as an LSU quarterback. I wish we had another opportunity to play for Ohio State. So I always root for Joe Burrow for the entire season. So it's cool to see him excel. And I also want to see UCF lose. I'm a little bit tired of
Tired of them running their mouths.
Yeah, man. They're a good team, though. You got to give it to them.
34-21 LSU, Eddie says.
Good. Eddie, thank you, Eddie. But, yeah, man, I mean, a good program, and those programs you even root for. But enough is enough, man. Are they undefeated again?
Yes, sir.
If that comes down to it and they end the season undefeated, I think Alabama has one loss. Do they have one loss?
Nope.
Alabama?
No, both Bama and Clemson are unbeaten, too.
Okay.
It'll be the first time we'll get a 15-0 team. Shout out my guy, Matt Calhoun, just joined the program. Best tattoo artist in Columbus.
Yay, man. I want to get my leg done.
Hey, I'll give you the information. We're here with Doug Worthington, 5-time winner of the Gold Pants.
5.
And his years at the Buckeyes. What do you think about that game, man? Dropping 62 on the Wolverines. I mean, did you see? I don't think anybody saw.
Did you see that coming? Did you see 62
Like
coming?
you just said, I don't think anybody's seen that coming. I was, coming in, getting a lot of backlash, hearing a lot of things for the outsiders. Even if you were like a Wolverine fan or you just somebody that didn't really care for Ohio State, you were wanting Ohio State to lose that game. You were seeing what that up north team were bringing in. They had a whole mantra. They had a whole season of the revenge tour, and they were very highly successful. So with that being said, that's why we play. That's why we strap up. That's why we go out there and we compete. And we have their number. We had their number, and it's just one of those. Hey, man, this battle, when it comes down to being January 1, 2019, everybody talks about, not talking about New Year's resolutions and da-da-da-da. Whatever energy you put out there, man, is going to come forth to fruition. If you're talking about you're going to dominate, you're going to talk about you're going to guaranteed wins, hey, man, put your money where your mouth is and just make sure that you can hold up your end of the bargain and don't put too much on other people when they're not ready to cash out. I think that was what the up north team problem was. They needed to have some fuel, and that gas didn't work for everybody. Everybody can't run off little corn gas. Like some is premium, some is regular. And some people wasn't really able to cash that check. It takes 11 players. It takes a coaching staff. It takes a full conglomerate to come down there and actually do something in a horseshoe. Man, come on, man. 62 points was just beautiful. It was like an exclamation point.
And we took a knee inside the 10 and the game.
Those kids.
Could have been 70.
Those young men, I call them kids because I'm almost a decade away removed from the 2010 Rose Bowl. Like, come on. I played in the 2010 Rose Bowl. These guys are playing in the 2019 Rose Bowl. So with that being said, these kids, these young men who had the, audacity to say, man, I'm guaranteeing wins, blah, blah, blah. That's a great learning lesson for life. You got to learn that. Like, you got to understand, like, yeah, it's cool to say some things. You can even have what you got together all up in point, but if everybody around you, if your team, whatever business structure you're in, if you're in the corporate world, if you're running a business, if you're a family household and you're not on the same page, if you're not cashing in them same tickets, somebody's going to be off cue and it's not going to work in your favor. So that's definitely the mirage that they felt for the last 2 games, and I'm excited for it.
That's what Kerry said. It was just a mirage.
I'm excited for it.
Hello.
I'm glad I'm not even a Gators fan no more. I was wearing blue and orange like a week ago just because I just don't like Michigan that much. And like Florida's like the second, the team I hate. Like almost like that game, I would have been really happy that Michigan lost, which happened, or I would have been happy that Florida lost and not care who actually won the game. Because losing the way I lost to in Florida was another thorn. But again, just always having that team up north lose is always a good thing. So. And
before that game, I was telling Jake they had the most pressure.
Who's that?
Michigan.
Oh my God!
All the pressure was on them.
All of them. Everybody was saying they're supposed to win. This is their best team. Harbaugh's got his guys, his quarterback, and running back is guaranteeing winning. And I'm like, all right. And I told their fans, I don't want to hear nothing ever again, ever.
They say the calling for this season is keep that same energy, right? You heard it before, like keep the same. If you're talking all that mess about the rival, the guys, the Ohio State University, when you lose, keep that same energy. Let me hear you. Let me wear your red that you're supposed to wear. It's an old show that used to be on this whole network. The little rivalry show I used to be on.
Yeah.
Like we bet it all. They don't even want to talk. They don't want to bring anything up. Y'all talking about Shea Patterson up in the spring. I remember them missing spring games and everything is just all fine and dandy. They lost the first game.
They didn't even play the spring game because it was raining.
They lost the first game of the season. They lost the last 2 games of the season. I mean, in between that, is that successful to you? Like to lose against Notre Dame, and you see how Notre Dame just got trampled. To lose against your rivalry in the fashion that you have, and then to go out and play another game against a affordable opponent like the Gators and later. Man, the number 7, I don't even know his name, but that defensive back that showed all that passion.
Hudson.
And he's so mad.
He's a Ohio kid.
And he was so mad, and he was just so vigorous, just like on the sideline, crying, giving tears. I remember crying in front of my guys and before a Rose Bowl, like, hey, I don't want to – please help me take this gorilla off my back when it comes down to this BCS game. So I was feeling for him. I was happy that he was hurt, but the human side of me understands that it must be challenging and tough for that young man to probably give as much as he did. And then you see other people on the bench that's looking at him like he's crazy, not understanding what really means. He's probably leaving 0-3 or 0-4 against his rivals and then losing a bowl game. That's hard to swallow.
And beat down at that.
Man, beat down. Two games in a row, 60-something points, 40-something points. This the third, fourth quarter, you don't really have no reason to play the game. I don't know, like, far as competitors, when you're in a game and you're just really you're competing just not to get whooped more, like, that's a different type of tail whooping. Like, you just out there, hey, brother, look at the score. Let's please hold it down. Let's get it closer. Later on, this is going to be on T-shirts. This is going to be on memories. Our kids are going to be able to Google this score. Fans are going to be able to Google this score.
Yep.
Next time they play this university, they're going to Google the score. These facts is going to be put up. So let's make sure we do as much as we can. We get thumbs up. Is my guy B-Roll available?
I'm here.
Hey, man.
Brian Roll joins the program, everybody.
Michigan trying to shut down the phone lines.
Michigan trying to
terrible.
They can't. Opposition can't help us.
Can't
Can't
shut
mess
us
us up
down.
in this 2019. Hey, brother, is one. I'm gonna tell you, B-Rod. I already said it, man. I already gave you a bunch of pub because that's just how I feel about you. But I mean, I hit him up about a couple hours ago. Like, hey, I'm doing a show. I'm getting on here with my guys. Can you just call in and let's talk about a little football? B-Rod said, man, what time? You want me to call you in the middle of the game? You want to call me the? I'm like, man, whenever is good for you. So I appreciate you, man. Are you with the family, man? How's it going?
Oh, yeah, I'm with the family, man. I've been traveling a little bit, so it's good to be back home and watch some TV on the big screen and hang out.
Yeah, man. Deserve watching a little bit of college football. This is exactly the best time of the season. You're seeing just like different opponents, different factors, bowl games, a whole bunch of money being made. The college players still not getting paid, but hey, guess what? It's going to change soon. B-Roll, happy New Year's, man. How's them beautiful babies, man? How's them braces treating you on your teeth, man? Everything good?
Good, man. Good. Happy New Year's, you guys, man. Yeah, the braces, man. Obviously, as an adult, you don't want to have them, but it is what it is. Just gotta. It ain't a great smile. Gotta get it perfect. So, it is what it is for the next, year and a half.
Hey, man. The thing about this world, I talk to a bunch of kids. I love it. The instant gratification of things is not really where it's at. You're going to have them gums and them teeth for many, many moons, so I'm glad you're taking care of them. And again, I want to talk about something besides football before we get into it, because these guys going to ask you them football questions. I already know what you are when it comes down to football. You just accomplished an amazing task. You went back to school. You went to get your business degree. And, you got a family. I said that before. You've been working your tail off. I know selling cars, but you had a bigger avenue, a bigger idea of what B-Roll was about. Tell the fans, the viewers, the people in here tuned in exactly what you just accomplished, what it means to you, and what you expect out of that particular degree you just got.
Yeah, so I decided about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, to go back and get my MBA, my Master's in Business Administration. And at first, honestly, I did it for the piece of paper. But, I talked to my wife, and for me, it came down to showing my kids and then showing other individuals that life is bigger than sports, and you can do so much more once you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
And it meant so much because of how much time it took, working full time and going to school at night, and papers that's so much more complex and in-depth and undergrad. It was a tremendous feat. It was easy in the sense that, you take all that energy you would have in college with football and school, and you put it all in school.
Right.
And my wife's so supportive, we had our son in my fourth class of the program. Right. So it was tough on her, but, it was a great feat. And I've been out of the car business. I was in the car business for 3 years, but I've actually started a new career. I'm with a company that does, it's basically construction, but I'm going through a leadership development program.
Awesome.
Where at the end of my program in a year, I'll be permanently placed in a leadership role with one of our 4 sectors of business.
Well deserved. Hey, man, that's saying a lot. The only reason why I said the car business, because I called you about 3-4 months ago when I had to dump that truck, and you was telling me about some ideas you had, like, hey, man, if you need to do this, I'm going to call this person, and if you want to get rid of this car, I'm going to call it. And you was working at the Honda place, so I was like, you know what, I want to get something a little bit more humbling, something I can drive when it comes down to the jobs that I had and the tasks to get around the city. But I got like Honda's upline. I got a little Acura that takes me to point A to point B now instead of this big old gas guzzler. But again, like I said, true story. I called B-Roll when it comes down to that. He picked up right away. Was very, very just whatever I needed. Call me back. We're going to get this thing done, and that's the brotherhood and what you expect out of it. So going to the football, man. You got some football questions for him?
Yeah, Brian, I appreciate you joining us today, man. Want to ask you, of course, today's the Rose Bowl. It steals the show today, of course, and what do you remember, any positive memories or anything from your time taking down the Oregon Ducks in that 2010 Rose Bowl?
Oh, man, I think about that game. Most people ask me, what's your favorite game that you've ever played in? And all the Michigan games, it's easy to point those games out. But the Rose Bowl might have been the most fun game because of the hype that's built around the game,
wow.
Named the granddaddy of them all. And, prior years, you watch guys like Reggie Bush and Vince Young, those guys take the field and put up historic performances. And in that game, one thing I remember is hearing about how fast Oregon was, how quick they were, and we didn't have a chance with the speed. And I remember getting in the game, and after the first drive we had on the field with them, I'm like, they're not as fast as I thought they were going to be. The offense isn't what I thought they were going to be. And you can kind of feel our defense and offense getting that sense that, all the hype around their team, it's going to be a lot easier than we thought it was going to be. Right. But obviously it was a dogfight. I think it was like a 9-point game. But it wasn't, that team, no diss to them, weren't what they were hyped up to be because we had prepared well enough leading up to it to counter everything they had, to dish at us.
No, well said, man. I remember, again, I was one of the slow ones that was actually the problems of keeping up with speed. But, I mean, just that week of practice, being out there in Pasadena, being out there. Remember the Pinnacle High School we was at? Pinnacle, remember that one?
Yes, sir.
Man, like, it
yes,
was
sir.
like I can't believe it was 9 years ago. I remember going to Pinnacle High School. I remember when Nike first gave us the Nike with the half red and the other sleeve was gray. We was one of the first ones with that.
Yeah.
We was the first ones with the chrome bottom of the cleats. Like I see all these kids now, man, and I look, I laugh. It's like a warm feeling inside just about some of the ways that the paths that we pave. I mean, we even look at those different uniforms they had throughout the seasons. And that senior year of mine, me, Kirk Coleman, Spit,
Yep.
we were some of the guys who actually, designed that particular jersey. We didn't have too much say, but it kind of made us a part of that whole process, and it was really, really good. You said some valuable things, man, as far as being underdogs, that being one of the best feats, because I know the next year you as a senior captain, the next year, I know you went out there to Sugar Bowl. That season being kind of a bunch of turmoil with Jim Tressel, that time was pretty tough. You guys got through it and won again. But I don't know, obviously you came and slept on my couch when we first got to Ohio State. And we had that monkey on our back when it comes down to those BCS battles, coming up short against Florida, coming up short against LSU, and in Texas. I don't know if you remember, but my whole saying of that whole camp, that whole time in LA was just getting that monkey off our back, leaving these seniors, letting my last game and the guys around me be able to, say we actually won a BCS title. What was that like, man? I know you being an underclassman and you being somebody that played everything for special teams to obviously being one of our top linebackers. Did you feel any pressure? I hope you did because you played the way you needed to. But what was it like going out there playing for your big brothers and playing for your seniors and being able to, say that we won a Rose Bowl and we accomplished a feat that a lot of people didn't think we had the ability to?
Oh, most definitely, man. And I remember, coming out of high school and watching that Florida game for one, and I was like, goodness gracious, this is the team I'm going to go play for in college.
Right.
And then, my freshman year, we played LSU, and then, it wasn't as bad, but it was the same thing, a loss. So
yeah.
I remember going to that Rose Bowl game, and even in practice, you could feel that urgency, sending guys out, on top, and guys like yourself who, we big brothers, Anderson Russell, guys like that, who we looked up to. And it was up to us younger guys because a lot of young guys played like myself, Cameron Hayward, Ross Holman. You could tell we took a sense of pride in making sure our big brothers left on a high note. In a game that, for all the people that sit at home and tweet about it and sit behind stages that say that we didn't have a chance, we knew that, it was going to take, every individual offense and defense to make sure that we get the job done. And I feel like when we chose to fight for something other than just the W, but fight for our brothers, the guys who paved the way for us, it made it all the more easier to get out there and get the job done.
Mm-hmm. No, well said.
Hey, Brian, thanks for calling in. Quick question for you. Big as the Rose Bowl is, for these players, how much bigger is it going to be since this is Urban's last game coaching?
Oh, it's going to be a ton of emotion. I can only imagine being on the sideline, and knowing, what's at stake with a guy who's meant so much to Ohio State in the last 7 years. A national championship, a couple bowl games, and just the impeccable record. So it's going to be a ton of emotion. You're going to have guys fired up. And that's why you don't see a lot of guys sit out this game who's probably going to be, first, second round picks, because they know it's about that relationship. It's about that brotherhood, that sacred brotherhood that you built, that we have at Ohio State, that, I'm not going to sit this game out and possibly miss out on one of the probably only greatest game there is to play, outside of the national championship, and send, a great coach out on a high note.
I think it's going to be a very emotional game today. I know just as a diehard Buckeye fan, I'm going to be real emotional. I assume a big win is coming, and Urban carry it off on the shoulders of the players. That's
what you like to see.
Man, it's going to be something else. Brian, I got another question for you here. We can let you go here soon, but when I think about Brian Roll, I think about the interception return against Navy. I just, what's it like preparing for a team like Navy? It's normally early in the season. and you just got to kind of change your whole defense for 1 week and then play. I've always heard, and the stats show, teams that play Navy 1 week normally don't have a whole lot of success the following week because of the toll that game in itself took. What do you remember from that game and that pick 2? I believe that was on the 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion.
And how does it feel to have probably the only pick 2 in Buckeye history?
Man, that game, I'll tell you what, and Doug can attest to this, we practiced for that team in the spring, and Coach Trussell was unique about putting in certain drills that didn't necessarily say we're practicing for Navy. He always had like cut block drills, and we never did that. It's just rare that you do it. But he did a great job of leading up to doing it because you can only simulate so much in practice. And then getting in the game, man, it was so different. I mean, you talk about guys who play so technique sound. That team was so sound in what they did. Yeah, we were the bigger team. We were the most physical team, but they were just so technique sound where they played us, just how we knew they would do. And then leading up to that play, I remember the prior week in practice, we ran that same 2-point play maybe 4 times. And Coach Fickle said right before that play, he said, if the quarterback rolls out, I want you to blitz. But if he doesn't roll out, I want you to just backpedal and hesitate that he's going to throw you the ball. And he didn't move, and I didn't move. And next thing you know, I got the ball up the sideline.
Wow.
And in my head, all I thought about was like, why didn't I just take a knee? And I was at that point, it was too late, and I was just like, well, here it is. I got 2 points. It's crazy. So it was awesome. I was thinking like I'm the only person that really runs back a 2-point conversion. Most guys just take a knee and knowing that the game's in the bag.
Hey man, we had a couple more seconds on I don't think the game was completely over.
No, it was about 2 minutes or so.
That was very valuable, man. But you said something very, very awesome, man. And it brings up to the point of just that tree of Buckeyes. Luke Fickell and the job he's done down in Cincinnati, being a 12-2 now, being successful and having a game. They destroyed Virginia Tech, a very, very great foe that definitely deserves a lot of credit being on the football field. I know the season and the stats don't show it, but still, that's Virginia Tech and Fickell and his team.
Oh, yeah.
What was it like with Fickell, man? What was it like with the Trussell? I mean, I know you didn't have Urban, but what was that whole dynamic of a coach? And I know you didn't know that last game, that Sugar Bowl, was going to be Trussell's last game, but just going to the mind of those guys out there today. This what the Bearcats get out of Fickell. What does a coach like Urban, Fickell, and Trussell, mean for a young man that is going out there playing a game of football and playing a game that he loves?
Yeah, man, I speak about Trussell so much. Most people talk to me about, why did I come from Florida and why didn't I just go to a school there? Even my wife today asked the same thing, and I told her, Coach Trussell sat in my living room and told my parents something, and to this day it's come true that, he knew I was going to be a great football player. He wouldn't be at my house if I wouldn't be. But he was more interested in me becoming a great man after I left Ohio State. And I think that's what's important for young men today more than anything is for when they leave home, when they don't have their parents to knock on their bedroom door, they have someone in their life that can be an influence to them to help them get to another level in life outside of sports. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be the man you're gonna be outside of sports because it's gonna end one day for all of us. And having a guy like Jim Trussell, man, he was instrumental in me becoming the man I am, leaving South Florida as a 17-year-old kid. And Luke Fickell, man, I'm sorry, that guy was probably one of the hardest coaches I've ever had.
Right.
He demanded so much, but I learned over years that he demands so much because he cares so much.
For sure.
And there's no surprise that Cincinnati is doing as well as they're doing because they got a coach that cares about every single player. He's not doing it for fame or for how much he's getting paid. He's doing it because he genuinely loves the game. And you got guys like Marcus Freeman, who's on the staff who we played with at Ohio State. Another a great guy who played under Trussell, who knows how to get the best out of players on and off the field and make it all tie together. And with Urban, he's doing the same thing. This guy, I mean, he's like, he's right behind Saban as the GOAT, in my opinion, because he looks at the players individually. And he can intertwine that business mindset into it as well. That the game is going to get out of you what it's going to get out of you, but make sure you get out of it the same thing as well. But at the same token, don't leave anything behind. I feel like the two coaches are so different, but the base fundamentals are all the same at the end of the day. You know, it's about the people. It's about, you know, about growth.
Oh, yeah, well said, man. I appreciate it, man. You got any more questions for him? You got some more for B-Roll before we get out of there?
The only question I had was, how was it transitioning from college to going to the NFL, playing for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers?
It wasn't hard, you know, because, you know, playing at Ohio State, you know, that's a high-level program where you're playing against elite competition day in and day out. The hardest part about it was, I would say, as a business, you know, you go to the NFL, it's work. You know, you don't leave, you know, practice to go to class. You leave practice to go back to watch film again after you've been there since 6:45 in the morning. So you have to treat it as such, and understand that, you know, it's different politics, man. It's ran. It's an organization run, you know, it's Fortune 500 companies in their own right of how they run. So you have to understand that. And I feel like as college football grows, it'll be pushed similar. It's going to be run similar. You know, you got players making decisions to sit out of bowl games now, which is unheard of when we played college football.
What?
So
I didn't even think of it. Like, you gonna sit out of what? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's getting like the NFL, where a lot of guys can kind of dictate stuff because we're the revenue drivers in this game, not the coaches. And I feel like as college football grows, like I said, you know, it'll be run similar to the NFL. That way the transition will be more seamless, where you see guys, you know, not make it as far in the league or don't do as well because college football will catch up to be run exactly the same, I think.
Man, I just seen something. I don't know if you guys know if it's true or not, but like you can transfer a kid can tell a coach that he wants to transfer, and then the coach has within 48 hours to put him almost like a waiver wire.
Yeah, so they have this transfer portal is what it's called, and when you're put into the transfer portal, anybody can contact said player as long as you're in there. It's turning into free agency.
You don't have to really transfer yet. You just got to almost.
You don't have to transfer if you're put into the portal.
Hey, B-Roll, this is a different world they're living in, man. They get way more food, they get way more money, they get way more gear.
Transfer and still play.
Hey, listen, they get way more food, money, gear. They ain't got no Pegasus no more. They got LeBrons. They walk around with LeBron shoes on. They got a LeBron locker in there. Like when I go to the Woody now, I put my stuff in LeBron's locker. I know he ain't gonna show up and take myself out of there.
What about the food stations they have? Like the
the first thing I said was food. You know, the first thing I said was food, man. Like, we have food spots that and think about food spots, man. Shout out to Velati and Easy Living. They just closed down.
Yeah,
that was a epic place for us to be as college athletes. We never got nothing free. He know the rules. But when it comes down to getting a sandwich, a cookie, a drink, a side for $5, he treated us very well. And if you ain't have your $5, he will go back and not see that you can. It was just everything you needed to be. As far as that college atmosphere, I know Columbus is growing expeditiously. I mean, it's not landlocked. There's so much going on. So many Fortune 500 companies coming here and just seeing these great areas of business and opportunity. So again, Easy Living, you will always be a part of me. I want to get some of them pictures, man. They have some great memorabilia. A couple ones of me and me rolling there, but that's a staple that I'm gonna definitely miss. But
they're gonna still do catering stuff, so you can throw a big party. Yeah.
Okay, man, I'll do that. Where are they gonna do catering? Give me a job, man.
Hey, Brian, we appreciate you joining us with us today. Before we let you go, you got a score prediction and a key to the game for us?
I just think as long as our defense, you know, plays tight, no big runs, I think we should be definitely fine. If I had to predict the score, I would say something like 37-14 Ohio State, obviously.
Nice.
I just think we should. It shouldn't be close because our guys got something to prove. Not like Washington doesn't, but like I said, we're fighting for to send our coach out on a high note. I just feel like we're going to be too much for him to handle at the end of the day.
No, well said, man. Well said. I appreciate it, man. I love you, bro. We're going to definitely get up. Can't wait to see the little man. You know, the babies and the family. Happy New Year's to you, man, and thanks for coming back on here. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Happy New Year's, guys. Appreciate you.
Enjoy the game.
All righty.
There he goes. Brian Wohl was with us. That's fantastic, man. What a good dude.
Oh, he's a very good guy, man. That's what it's all about, man. Being able to call your guys and them jumping on the horn, just talking about some football. That's life.
It doesn't get any better than that. That's why we come up and do it here. We got about 10 minutes left here. Geez, I don't know. 10 minutes left here, so let's talk about this Rose Bowl. Do a little preview. We'll do our score predictions and whatnot. So the Huskies are 10-3 on the season. Did win the Pac-12 championship game over Utah. Not really great offensively. Pretty solid defense, though, especially in the secondary. They've got 3 All-Americans, and they're the only team. I like this stat, and I think this will be overturned quick. But Washington's the only team in college football this year that hasn't allowed a pass of over 40 yards.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. That's a nice stat. I think Haskins will beat that in, first couple drives.
The thing about it, we get that bulletin board material faster than the media does. We have a media group, at least we did back in Ohio State. I know they probably even have more. When it comes down to the stats, the possibilities, those coaches are getting all those type of little numbers, what they're good at, what they're not good at, what hasn't happened, what has happened. And they want to tick that. They want to check that off. Like, okay, you haven't had that done to you. Well, let's see why.
Wow.
Let's see how we can expose that. So, I mean, I know they're salivating with the opportunity to have a Haskins, a guy who was third in a Heisman, didn't really get the appreciation and respect to go ahead and be a top.
Complete disrespect.
Don't get me started on that.
A little disrespect, but you got to see where it comes from. It comes from the voters. It comes from the business. That collection of the pool and the collection committee and all that. It's a lot of politics in it. It'll take a whole episode, a whole day to kind of decipher through all that stuff. He was there in New York, very much well so deserved. Mm-hmm. The ratings and the votes wasn't there. But with that being said, a guy like Haskins, the weapons he have, as far as at the wide receiver, all those guys. They're going to be salivating all those opportunities to really bust that record up, get a couple, 40-yard bombs over the top, really opening it up and just show them what they're really about.
I like it. Matt Calhoun says he's calling the shutout. Give us your score and bold predictions in the comments, folks. We'll read them out here. Corey, do you have something over there? I thought I saw you. Maybe not.
Not yet.
No.
I was just waiting.
Another victory we had against Washington already. Y'all hear about that victory?
In what, 07?
No, not even that. We beat them in 07. It was cool. I like Washington. It was cool. We was up there, but it was nice.
In Seattle?
Right. In Seattle.
Nice.
It is beautiful up there. Little gloomy. They don't
It's
get
always
as much
raining
sun. But with that being said, the facility was great. It was off the waters. But as far as a recent victory, we just got a 4-star wide receiver.
Yes.
Yeah.
We mentioned
We talked about that before you got here from Washington State.
What's his name? Like D or G?
It's G. Scott.
G. Scott Jr.
Actually, yeah. It's G. Scott Jr. His dad, senior, he said he credits his life being saved by Rob Sims.
Oh, Rob Sims. That's the guy. Now, how did that happen?
Well, I guess this was after school or something. Okay. It was a few, 10 years ago maybe. Okay. I read the story because Rob Sims, I guess, he gave him a place. He offered his place up for him. Awesome. G. Scott Sr. was, going through a rough patch. His wife wouldn't let him see his kids, including his son who just committed to Ohio State. Came together with Rob. Rob said, you got a place to stay here. So he said when he got to see his kids every other weekend, they came over to Rob Sims' place, and they all got to hang out there. He got to see his kids.
Look at God. That's huge.
And then, it really is. It's pretty cool. So this kid, he's been a Buckeye fan for a lot of his life. And
hey, Rob Sims, I love you, man. He thought he was the sexiest, big 6'6", 320-pound guy. Actually, he wasn't 6'6", like 6'2". But Rob is a good guy. I mean, it does not. I understand that.
That doesn't surprise you?
Doesn't surprise me. That's the word I'm looking for. Don't surprise me. Rob Sims, class act guy, one of those guys that coming in as a freshman. You're scared of guys like that who are just dominant, who I'm playing against in the practice squad and scout team, and he's literally helping me get my craft better. So big ups to him. If he's checking in, and if somebody is out there, give him a shout out for the man that he is. He's a Detroit Lion. I'm sorry about that whole aspect of playing up in Michigan, but he was a very, very good man and a Buckeye through and through. So that's awesome about Rob. So,
that's a great story.
Good story, man. Good story. And we beat Washington already, man, off the recruit tip. What's your thoughts on the game? What we gonna do?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to win. Now I'm not as confident as Matt Calhoun on the shutout.
Yep,
I'm not going to go that far. I watched the Maryland game.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of the Purdue game. So I'm not going with the shutout, but I'm going to go Ohio State 48, Washington 27.
27.
That's a close one of mine, man. You look at my score before you made that call?
I see you took Haskins, though, so I want to take a different player.
All right. Here we go.
My Buckeye Leaf Paris Campbell
Paris Campbell
is going to go out with a bang.
I can see that.
Hey, let me give you these stats about Paris Campbell real quick. He only needs 8 receiving yards today to be the fifth wide receiver in school history with a 1,000-yard season.
He gonna get that.
He'll join Michael Jenkins, David Boston, Terry Glenn, and Chris Carter.
Man,
that's some
that's
damn good company.
Yeah, and I'm expecting to hear Santonio Holmes in there. Maybe even Posey was but no, he was about 700, 800, but that's my guy as far as wide receivers. But a lot of great wide receivers came in through this. Ted Ginn, I mean, obviously he'd blow the top off on special teams, but he also was a threat. So Robisky, friends of mine, teammates of mine. So that's saying a lot for Paris Campbell.
Only 8 yards. You know he's getting that.
He needs to get that
He's
the
getting
first
that
play
quick.
of the game.
And,
First pass.
40 yards, right? Get that
First-
run out of there,
Yeah.
40, and just beat them both. Get
maybe a
the
little
whole-
pop pass for
Yeah.
70.
It's going to be a short one. They said the
Wolverine.
wind is up 25 miles an hour right now. So
Okay.
Wow.
that might be something to look at.
Hey, guess what? Haskins, he needs to show that, man. He's big resume. New York, all these teams is watching him. I hope he goes to the Giants. And with that being said, he's going to be able to – look, I see you over the Dallas Cowboys fan.
Hey, I'm one too, man. I don't want it, but
Hey,
it'd be a great fit for him.
Listen, you want it in that division, man. That division needs a little bit of star power, so it's going to be good to see a guy like that if he's blessed to get that opportunity. But 25 miles per hour, all the people that 40 yards never do, all that right there is going to definitely be challenges, but opposition brings out champions. And I think he's going to definitely excel in this game.
Yeah, he's my bold prediction. Like I said earlier, he only needs 400. Well, I shouldn't say only. He is 420 yards and 3 touchdowns away from 5,000 yards on the season and 50 touchdowns.
Nice.
So I say that's my bold prediction. He goes for it. He gets 420 yards, 3 touchdowns to eclipse the 5 grand mark in passing yards, 50 touchdowns. I got the Buckeyes 49-24.
Okay.
Wow.
I like that.
A few of the comments in here. Hey, Matt Calhoun says, we get the shutout. I'll tattoo free block O's for a week.
Oh.
Let's get it, boys.
That's saying it.
Hey,
We got screenshots.
we're going to hold it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got receipts
about that. We got receipts.
Adam Schiffman says, Arnett is worth 3 PI calls leading to at least 1 touchdown. No shutout, 49-7. Alan Russell, 38-14. Good guys. Eddie Stats was in here, 35-14. Says Haskins goes for 355 and 4 scores.
Nice.
You got a score prediction for us, Doug?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, this game, I feel like it's going to be one up front. I really want to see what those slobs come out and do. They got a couple guys starting in roles that they haven't yet. And then you got your guy Weber. You know, it's kind of a shock to, him come out and say, hey, I'm foregoing.
He's done his 4 years. He's ready to go.
My senior season, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna test the waters and go to the NFL. So Urban knows that. Urban wants guys like that to be successful, and them guys going out together, I feel like they'll showcase Weber. Go out there, give him his touches, let him show what he can do. I feel like the guys up front are going to be very, very motivated, very, very inspired. You got a senior Isaiah Prince. You got Michael Jordan in there. You got Knox on the sideline with a broken. Those guys want to play. They want to prove. And they got a lot of things to kind of show and kind of give for the following season, that legacy pieces. So I think Weber is going to go out there, have about 3 touchdowns. I feel like it's going to be a blowout. I feel like we're going to be up like about 56 to like 17. I feel like it's going to be one of those games where it's almost kind of boring to watch if you're not an Ohio State fan.
Yeah,
I hope
but
you're
going
right.
to have a lot of influence from just the crowd, the energy, the atmosphere. And again, you got to get on them early. You gotta have those guys really buckle down and play their 111 far as on defense. I feel like matching them man on man, imano. I feel like it's not really no comparison, but that's why we play football.
Yep.
We talked about it before. We're behind the mic. We're not about to actually suit up, but I think these guys have.
You probably could.
Yeah, I probably could. I give them about 3 plays, and then my knees gonna go out, and I'm gonna sue them. But with that saying, I'm gonna go out. They're gonna go out there. They're gonna have a lot of emotions. Urban Meyer is great when it comes down to leading these young men to the promised land and getting these guys into the same a focus point and just get them out there and compete. Day is going to be out there. It's going to be a great atmosphere for Buckeye Nation and the Pasadena, the Rose Bowl. I guarantee we're winning the stadium about 65-35. We're going to go out there. You're going to see a lot of scarlet. It's going to be one of those hometown feels. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to talk about it. it's gonna be cool being up here with you guys and just go out here and just look at this good old Rose Bowl.
We're excited, man. I'm glad you mentioned Mike Weber because
Shawnee's right in here. 42-14, she
his
says.
sisters in the comments section here. She said 42-14. She says Mikey 150, 2 touchdowns, maybe 3.
I gave him 3.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna get 3. He's gonna get 1 early, then he gonna ball. I think they should give him the brunt of the work. Let those guys go ahead and just have fun. You know, think about a great quarterback. They have a good running game, something they can rely on.
Yep.
You know, you can't put too much on Haskins. The times that we have, it wasn't really great. That being the Maryland game, that being the Purdue game. Give those guys slobs. Come on there, open up some holes. Defense, give them the ball back, and let's just have fun, man. Run out the clock, enjoy that beautiful time out there in Pasadena, and then come back to Columbus and just get ready for that 2019-20 season.
Well, we're excited, Doug. We appreciate you being with us for the show here. We'll be back in about half hour, folks. Bringing you the play-by-play, something like that. Let's go.
What we gonna eat, man? Somebody sponsor, bring some food up here, man.
Yeah, you working on that Pepsi sponsorship?
Yeah, I'm working on that, man.
Yeah, that's a good sponsorship to have. Now. I see some other drinks over here we probably can't talk about.
Hey, now.
It is New Year's. Right?
It is
New Year's. Let's have fun.
That's gonna do it for us, folks. We'll be back half hour or so, bringing you the play-by-play for the Rose Bowl, Ohio State versus Washington.
Epic.
For Doug Worthington, Corey Boyd, producer G, I'm Jake Smith. Signing off. OH.
I-O.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Go Bucks.